Guys, we have four big pieces of news on the economy that I want to bring to you right now on this Tuesday morning because they are lying. They are lying right to our faces about the economy, pretending that everything is fine. Just listen to what the White House press secretary has to say, that Biden has healed you.
It's clear Americans are starting to feel President Biden's strong economy. Wages have risen faster than inflation for 10 months in a row. The unemployment rate has remained below 4% for the longest stretch in 50 years. Inflation has fallen by about 2/3.
That, of course, is a total lie. Inflation is rising faster than they control it, and shit is hitting the fan faster than the Fed expected. The truth is now coming out. The Fed will be forced to cut interest rates. I repeat, will be forced to cut interest rates. They're pretending like they're not going to cut them. Or maybe they'll cut them once this year. This is going to happen immediately because it's even worse than we imagine. So four huge pieces of news to get to here on this Tuesday morning. One just happened about 8 hours ago while most of us were sleeping. Oh, and I'm, by the way, going to have a big update for you at the end of today's video, so stick around for that. But let's get to this first, okay? Small business credit. Take a look at this chart, guys, this new chart. This is an SOS situation here. Small businesses can't borrow to improve their companies right now. These small banks are going under. A number of small banks are collapsing and being gobbled up by the bigger guys. We now know that one large bank per month is collapsing in the United States. So these small local banks that lend out money, they are now insolvent. They've lent out money on these commercial real estate loans, and those things are going belly up. So they can't lend money out to small businesses right now. So what does that mean? Well, get ready for a lot of small businesses to lay off employees, unfortunately. This will be devastating to local communities. So keep an eye on that like local pizza shop that you love going to and watch as it starts to close down. The next big data point that I want to show you this morning is what American savings accounts look like. This is second only to the Great Depression. This data is stunning. This is a tragedy. People are done. Bidenomics is devastating American savings accounts. Just look at this. The savings rates under Biden compared to Trump. These are astonishing numbers, guys. Americans are just scraping by, selling off what they own and moving in with other people who've also tapped out of their savings.
No savings, no 401k, not even enough to cover an emergency. She sold her home and with two other women bought a smaller one, living together to save money.
Thank you very much. How has that been?
Well, it's been a matter of life and death.
Yeah, they've completely tapped out their savings in order to pay medical bills, keep a roof over their head, pay for the same types of food items that they were able to pay for 4 years ago, and the prices are now doubled. This is the poor. This is the middle class in the United States. They have nothing left, no savings. Another big data point that we just got this week is the white-collar jobs data. Those that fuel the middle class are plummeting. A very reliable sign of a major slowdown. So this economy is in a free fall, despite what Karine Jean-Pierre at the White House press briefing room is telling us. And the Fed will need to cut interest rates soon to help stop the collapse and help the American people right now. Number 4, this just happened overnight. Biden signed into law a ban on Russian uranium while you were sleeping. Now, Congress passed this last week, and this is significant. I can't believe Congress passed it, but here we are. Okay, this is amazing, right? We've been sanctioning every other form of energy coming out of Russia. Natural gas, oil, everything, right? So we're not allowed to touch anything that comes out of Russia. But we never sanctioned uranium. Why? Because 24% of America runs on nuclear power, and all of that comes from Russian uranium. We don't enrich or make any uranium in the United States. Nothing. So America has no uranium. We relied on it. So we couldn't do it. But now suddenly the Biden administration is thinking that, hey, while Americans are suffering, let's spike their energy prices even more. I really can't wrap my brain around it. Guys, Biden and the Fed are lying to your faces. Lying. The Fed is going to cut rates. They will. They're pretending that they won't. Once that happens, the interest rate sensitive industries will break out first. I'm talking real estate. So we could see, I've been predicting a real estate boom in the United States. There's so much pent up demand for properties right now, and people have been sitting back waiting to sell their properties because of the interest rate environment. Once that happens, guys, all hell's going to break loose. And solar, that's another industry which is one of the most interest rate impacted industries in the United States right now. So what happens? Biden deserted the Middle East, not lifting a finger to stop maritime attacks, which of course has driven countries away from the US dollar. He's banned Russian uranium, funded a massive inflation reduction stimulus, all geared to isolate the energy requirements that Trump started. And then Biden is proceeding, of course, with not crediting Trump with the original vision. And then he renamed it the Inflation Reduction Act, kept key parts of what Trump had already put in place and relabeled it. Solar was a cornerstone of this national priority from Trump. And we're going to see an explosion in that once these interest rates start to come down. So that's the news update part of today's video. We have a lot of moving pieces right now in this economy, so pay attention to this. Now, a few weeks ago on the channel, I told you about a sponsor called SolarBank. Now, I've got a huge update to share with you before we go. And guys, you have to pay attention to this. It's tied directly to what Biden just did last night, banning Russian uranium. And it's time for me to take a victory lap. I don't usually pat myself on the back, but you know how I feel about SolarBank, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker right here on your screen, SUUN. Now, I've said it multiple times on previous videos, which you can go back and watch if you want. But the breaking news on this company is that this morning, we just got their financials. They just posted their financials, and they are just too impressive to not share with you. So I wanted to share them with you here as part of this news update. With 3/4 of their fiscal year behind them, here are the results, okay? I'm going to put these up on the screen. $50.4 million in revenue for the 9-month period. $5.5 million in net income for the 9-month period, or 20 cents per share. But the most important figure is the growth is set to continue according to their financials. Their updated revenue guidance was at $56 million. They've just now upped it to $61 million for the full fiscal year. And all of their financial figures, by the way, are in Canadian dollars. Now, on your screen, take a look at this, is a year-over-year comparison to the same period last year. And you'll notice revenue is up 400%. Cash is up 100%. Net income is up 60%. Earnings per share are up 50%. So here's my interpretation of these astounding results. SolarBank has a market cap of $160 million US dollars. They just guided to an annual revenues of 56 million Canadian dollars. The companies that grow revenues in the high double digits trade for usually 8 to 10 times revenue. So if we're conservative, that translates to a market cap of 327 million. That's double the current one. So by the way, this is exactly what that analyst that I talked about in my previous video said about this company. So I don't often give myself a pat on the back, but I told you about this company weeks ago. They just released stunning financial results. So congrats to you guys if you did your own due diligence and bought a few shares of this company. So I just had to give you an update on their financials this morning. Some great stuff from this company, and good update, especially if you invested already. Anyway, get ready for interest rates to get slashed, guys. We're going to watch very closely what the Fed does over the next few weeks. In my opinion, the Fed has no choice but to do this. I know they're saying they're not going to, but you watch. This is going to happen. And we'll see you next time, everyone.